What is going on? Happy April Fool's Day. It is time for a March trading recap video. This video, we are going to be recapping the month of March, the 7 trades that I've taken, and talking at least about the plans going forward, what happened in March, why we didn't trade so much, all that stuff, and then was it good, was it bad? So, really quick, I'll pop off the screen so you can see. This is the dashboard on TradeZella. I will leave them linked down below. Like always, I use them and I would recommend them because they make it easy to track this stuff. But you could technically track all of this stuff on your own. I like to have them do it for me so it makes it easier. But you can see, you know, everything there. And now I'm going to go through kind of one by one what I at least like my takeaways. So starting in the top left, if you jump over to net P&L, we finished down 124. This, I have it written down, I believe is my first red month since September of 2023. Yes, I was red $308 in September of 2023. I was also red $437 in August of 2023. This is my first red month since then. Day trading or swing, it's actually been mostly swing trades so far this year. Whole other video going over the whole details behind all that stuff. Average trade expectancy -17, which means on average I can expect to lose $17.84 a trade. Profit factor was 0.69, meaning we were not profitable. A number above 1 is profitable. Our win percentage was 28.57. That's terrible, but also not the end of the world. And there was only 7 trades, 2 winners, 5 losers. So when you only have 7 trades, like it's easy for you to have a 90% win rate, or 80, I guess, or 70, whatever. Or on the flip side, this. So that I'm not, you know, whatever. It's nothing to freak out about, in my opinion. The average win-loss, in my view, more important. If this finds way up towards 50%, which it kind of hovers at 48 over the past 500 trades. With this number, we're good. So average win-loss was still good. I love a nice, you know, nearly a 2-to-1, meaning that I'm actually realizing nearly a 2-to-1 risk reward on my trades, which is awesome. Many times you set out for these goals of a 2-to-1 risk reward, and then you just can't achieve them. But we're actually getting close to those numbers in terms of a realized gain. So average winner was 141, average loser 81.4. Those numbers, I believe, are lower than the prior month. So we're like, oh, you're sizing down. What's going on? Sort of, kind of. So if we take it a step back, what happened this month? And then we'll dive into the details, which is the best part of the video, in my opinion, where I get more data out of. Now, there's not a ton to get out of this, but we get more information as we dive deeper into the data. But this month, we started off the month. I was in Arizona. I came back home for a day, maybe 2. One of those was a Saturday and a Sunday, maybe. And then we went to my family, my brothers, my dad, and I went to Montana for a week for a ski trip, which we do every year for their spring break. We try to, at least. So the first 2 weeks of the month were kind of like I wasn't really here. Then came back from that. I believe it was around the 11th. And there just straight up was not any trades that I thought were good to take. A. But B, more importantly, the prop firm that I was using for most of my trading, transition brokers. And so what they did was said, okay, like we're, you know, no more Meditator 4, Meditator 5. So, you know, you can't use those platforms to trade. So now you've got to go to, they got to swap over to DX trade and whatever. Now, through that, my account was in profit. Okay, so hear me out, right? Here's what they did. Now, they didn't say this blatantly, at least from my understanding, but this is exactly why my account has not been high priority to be transitioned. It has now, well, technically, as I make this video, it's not, but it's close. We're close. We're almost there. The money I've traded with the past 2 weeks have been on tiny, like even smaller accounts that I purchased to A, test out the new platforms, and then B, test out a trade copier. And then also, now I could have some skin. Not that having a skin game was required. Like it's okay. I wouldn't have been like, oh my God, I can't trade. I'm not like that anymore, where I used to be. But we have had this account for about a month now in this like wishy-washy transition phase. So because I was in profit on the account, there is less incentive to transition me over. Why? Because I could be someone who is at risk of losing the prop for money if I get to the funded phase and then am consistently withdrawing profits. Now, if you were to go back over my past 11 months, well, I really started making these trade recap videos maybe 6 to 8 months ago, but I have shown the data from the past year. If you go back over that period, I have been the most dialed in, disciplined, and consistent I have ever been for this period of time, for this amount of trades in my entire life. Not saying that I'm making millions of dollars, because I'm not. The sizing has been small, but it's been consistent, and so the plan is this year to start scaling that up, right? Because we've now proven it for a good year. Now let's scale it up. We're trading one system, one strategy. Now let's double, let's triple it, 3x that size, and kind of go from there, right? And then now we can start playing with actual money, as we say, versus like the money that I've been playing with, a couple $100 swings here and there, a couple $1,000 swings here and there, isn't going to do a ton in terms of, in 2024's economy, right? Right. So it's like, it's cool, but it's nothing like amazing. But because of that, right? So I have been like lowest priority to transition. So emailed a million times, get the runaround, say it's coming. And let's be honest. Hey, like I'm sure they've had some problems, given benefit of the doubt to a degree, but it has taken a lot longer than they originally said, a couple of days to a week or two. It's been weeks for me. We're talking almost a month now, and it's kind of bullshit. But they opened up to new accounts, so you can buy new accounts. And why? Because that makes them money right now, giving somebody who had an account in profit that was threatening the profit target goal to then get funded, to then get refunded my initial entry fee, and then potentially pull profits out at some point. They don't want that to happen, right? And the stats tell them like, hey, like on average, like 95% people are going to lose money, so you're going to make money. But that's really why. So with that said, hopefully as we move into April, we'll be back to the normal sizing. And I actually plan, just went through kind of like my plans and thoughts for what I want to do for April and stuff. One of the biggest things, and it's not like it has to happen right now on the next trade. And one of the biggest things is that when I see A+, it's not A+, it's just when I see high quality setups, when I see stuff that fits my criteria on the higher time frames, I will be sizing up. Not immediately, like aggressively, but I will be sizing up little by little for the next couple of weeks and months, I would imagine. So as you watch the next trade recaps over the coming months, I would imagine them going from, a couple $100 swings here and there. You might start seeing 500s. You might even start seeing upper hundreds, 8s, 9s. I'm hoping to see into the thousands on individual trades soon-ish. I'm not going to force that. I'm not going to do that too quickly, but the plan is to do that as we, as time moves on, and obviously as we grow the account size and stuff. So that's the plan. That's the backstory. So we had that going on. Plus, I tell you guys, this has been the worst month for my setups that I have ever seen over the past year. Like it actually has. No, it's not a bad thing. Like I'm not like I'm not out here trying to trade. It's literally I just haven't seen anything that fits the criteria. Like there's been 7 technically trades. There's been probably more that I missed, but there haven't been a lot. So that's good and bad, as in like I'm disciplined to not take them, but also market's just not providing much. Now we've been in this kind of like chop up and down, like kind of limbo period. It's not like we're getting a lot of clear momentum up. The market's generally going higher, but we're not getting momentum up, which is what my strategy thrives on, momentum up or down. Doesn't matter. One pick a side, we're not getting either. And so you're in this limbo, which is okay. And that means, and it kind of works out great. Like do other things. It worked out that I had a couple trips and stuff, but it's good to see this and in the future know this, so that now understand like this trading thing, it really is a lot more fluid. It's not rigid in terms of every day I come in, I do this for 2 hours, and I make money and I leave. It's not like that. It really is not. As you, I think, mature, you start to realize like there will be things that you see that signal to you there is a higher probability that your trade system will not work. So you just decide to not trade, because why would I trade if I, like, and for example, if I knew, now I kind of did, that I'm operating at a substantially lower than 50% win rate, I'm not going to look and try to trade every 2 seconds. I'm going to take the highest quality things that I see. And even those, for me this month, have lost me money. Not a lot, 124 bucks, 125 bucks, but still, right? So when you see those things happen, like it's good experience, but you mature to the point where like this shit is not about every single day I must do this, this, and this, right? Okay. Now let's get into the details. Let's get into some of the reports. So this is what I like to look at. So for this month, and it's nothing crazy, you know, you're not going to sit here and say, holy crap, you know, we got a million trades to go off of. We only have a couple trades here. On average, my average hold time for all trades was actually about 4.5, a little over 4.5 days. What does that mean? Swings. We have been swinging these bad boys. I like that. I have a video from a few days ago or a few weeks ago, whatever, going back talking about pretty much my plans and why I prefer swings over day trades. Not that I won't ever take a day trade again. I will definitely will. Almost guarantee I will, but I prefer swings, and those are the trades that I can size in more comfortably, larger, and let them just work over the larger time frames. Okay, so that's that. Largest profit was 192, largest loss 157. So those are still good, meaning our winners are, our biggest winner was much bigger, or not much, but was bigger than our biggest loser, which is kind of good to see. You want to make sure that that's consistent, and it has been for months. If we go to instrument, the other stuff, the days, weeks, time, and stuff, it's not going to be super clear. We don't have a ton of data on that. What did I trade the most of? I traded Nvidia twice, and then we have essentially one trade on Meta, S&P, gold, Bitcoin, and then USA. It should be it's the Dow. It's the Dow for whatever reason. That was my biggest loss actually on this Dow trade. And you can go back to that video. I have a trade recap for every single one of these trades. If there were 2 trades closed on the same day, then I would essentially have 2 trades in a trade recap. But every day that I close a trade, there will be a trade recap in the coming day or that day or shortly after. So here we go. Meta was the biggest winner from 192. We obviously lost the most on that. Bitcoin, which was my biggest and strongest so far for the year. If I jump over to this for the year, let's just pull up year to date. You'll see Bitcoin still is, despite the loss I just had, Bitcoin has still made me over $1,100 this year. So it has been where, like, if I see a setup I like on Bitcoin that fits my criteria, I'm going to trade it. So that's why I traded it, but it quickly stopped me out, which is April. There's no trade. Sorry, let's go to last month. It is now April 1st. April Fools. Happy April Fools, by the way. I hope you guys are not getting fooled by a bunch of bullshit on, social media about people faking trades. I should have titled this video "Making $7 Million" or some. I should have titled that something crazy, but I didn't. So, or I guess I could, but I'm not going to. The rest of the stuff is kind of, one trade at a time, so nothing crazy. In video, we had a winner and a loser, I believe, which netted me a positive $35 gain. Cool, but nothing super insane. Setups, mistakes, custom tags. Let's get to that. Only traded bull flags. I traded 7 bull flags, no bear flags. And when I say bull flags and bear flags, like I always say, it's my version of a horizontal momentum break to the upside versus a horizontal momentum break to the downside as a bear flag. It looks like that, and that's essentially the trade that I take. So we had that. Any mistakes we had this month? We had a late entry on one trade, which netted me a loss of $18. So not even bad at all across the board. And even that entered a little bit late, like it broke out and it was up a bit. That was a gold trade. It was because we had Jerome Powell spoke. We got a good move on the backs. After I got in, I was up a lot. I wanted more on the trade on a bigger time frame, and it ended up kind of going. And then if I can pull it up here, like this trade actually worked. So my idea was like my thought was in the right place. It just like the timing was off and stuff. So I saw this breakout right here, really, we had two kind of things. You had this you had the trend line break here, and you had us breaking this. So I ended up getting in somewhere around here. It ends up going higher, and then it ends up coming back. And I'm like, I was down, so I ended up losing. I stopped out on this candle right here, just north or just south of break even. My original stop loss was placed just below these lows, the pullback lows, consolidation lows right here at the bottom of the wedge. So that was the original plan, and the targets were somewhere up in here. I don't know exactly where. They were somewhere up in there. So they actually may have hit, and golds look good. But I stopped out here because I moved my stop up. And I don't want to be in stuff that does this because you don't know how long it might happen. And with swap fees and stuff, the timing's off. I could have stayed in. It could have worked out. Maybe I would have had a green month, you know what I mean? Technically, but I would have been in the trade for like 2 weeks, which if I'm timing momentum, I don't want to be in a trade for necessarily 2 weeks unless the thing is just going up, and I'm just scaling out and I'm like, hey, I got a tiny bit left. I have a tenth of my position left and it's still going up. And, my trailing stop loss is way higher. And that's the situation where I'd want to stay in for 2 weeks. If those will happen at some point, but very rare. So I don't want to be in these. These have a higher probability of eventually breaking down than going up. In this case, it ended up staying strong. It went up, but not all the time that can happen. So for my data, what I've tracked, what I've seen, I just wanted to get out. So that was it. But the trade was actually technically fine. The original risk was good. Custom tags. So the time frames I traded on, the 1 day I had 2 trades. The 5 minute I had actually 1 trade, which believe it or not made me $90. The 4 hour I took 4 trades based off the 4 hour chart, and those not all lost, but those netted me a loss of nearly $250. And the daily chart I had 2 trades netted me $35. So some winners, some losers there. So nothing insane. I mean, I'll jump to the year to date so we give more data on this. What do we see year to date? The 4 hour chart's actually still green, believe it or not. 5 minutes still red. 1 day is very, very green. So what is this telling me? It's telling me still sticking to the 1 day charts. Great. That's where you'd want to be. And less attention on the 5 minute charts, because I've taken 18 trades off the 5 minute charts this year so far, and they've netted me a loss of $92. So picture that. Do the math on the average time of those trades. You're talking at least 5 to 10 minutes. So times 18, times losing money, like for the amount of time I'm spending watching the chart, I'm actually losing money. It doesn't make sense. Whereas these 1 day charts, right, you can say, oh, well, you were in these trades for days at a time. Yes. But when I trade off the 1 day, I get in, I set my stop, I set my take profit, and I come back to check when we're on a live stream, when I have a few minutes. I don't sit there and watch the chart for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days until it ends, right? Until the trade hits the stop or take profit. So from a efficiency standpoint, I prefer these higher time frame charts, the 1 days, the 4 hours, because I don't have to sit there and watch it. Whereas a 5 minute, I'm probably going to sit there. I don't have to, but I'm probably going to sit there and watch it because it's going to happen soon, right? So that's kind of been my whole thought in that video from a few weeks ago or a few days ago. It just makes more sense to be swing trading right now. Just based off my data, data tells me you're more efficient if you swing trade. You're making more money, and you're spending less time on the charts, so you can do other things either physically, because I'm trading for a 58-mile race, which is going to be nuts. I can work on that, or other work that I have to do that actually makes me money, that pays the bills, or other stuff do other things that I want to do. That's kind of been my whole takeaway from all this stuff. So that's why I highly recommend you track your data. I love tracking data because it's very useful. Back to the dashboard. That's the full year so far. So you can see on so far on the year, you can kind of see the trajectory, right? Kind of didn't do much for a period of time from early mid-January to mid February. Had a good push end of February. And then since then, it's not been nothing great. But it's not like we're pulling back. It's not like I've pulled back, $800,000 off of the highs of this year. My high water mark on the year was 1471 in profit, and I'm currently at 1154. That's 1 to 2 trades away from back to the new high of the year. literally 1 or 2 trades away. So when you manage risk really well, I think you put yourself in a good spot. And we're at a 42% win rate for the year so far, off of 47 trades. So we're not on pace. We're on pace to take a lot less trades than last year. But I mean, hey, I'm down with these numbers. If we're averaging a 2-to-1 risk reward on the year, I'll take that with a 42% win rate any day, week, month, and I'll ride that out for the rest of my life if I can get it. Probably won't, but you have to adapt to some things. But that's the deal. So that was it. That's the update. That's the trade recap for the month. I'll leave TradeZelle link down below. We do live streams. I try to do them every single day of the week. Usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the afternoon for Power Hour, and then Tuesday, Thursday we try to do them for the Open. And then I post trade recaps every single time I close a trade. So you get to see them all. I am telling you guys, I'm not some professional, this, that, but I'm just showing you what I'm doing in the past 11 plus months. Have been pretty consistently profitable. This is the first red month since September and August of last year. So good to know. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.